Hello, my dear. Good morning, everyone. Maeve Rose is with you again. I got a great sleep and drank my vegetable smoothie. By the way, the recipe is already in my YouTube channel, so check it out. And now I'm off to pick out my outfit for school. Are you guys with me? Let's go! Maeve Rose is with you again. It is hard to be always energetic and cheerful. But this is exactly the Maeve my viewers got used to. And they don't care how bad I really feel today. I want to burrow down under the blanket and close the curtains and just lie there all day long. And I'll tell you why. I live in an upscale neighborhood, go to a great school, and at age 15, I'm making good money on TikTok. I have 1 million subscribers on my account. And I am a face of a well-known cosmetics brand for teenagers. I get recognized at school. All of our golden high school youth want to hang out and be friends with me because they think I'm one of them. But the truth is, you'll find out my biggest secret in a minute. But for now, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell. There are many more interesting stories ahead for you. So, my biggest secret is that I am a simple girl who moved to a gorgeous neighborhood from a poor slum. And I live with my mom, who works double shifts as a nurse to pay for our housing in the neighborhood and for me to go to school. And to help her, I started developing my social media account, coming up with interesting content, and listening to the beauty influencers, and my hard work paid off. Maeve Rose is a standout in the TikTok community. I have a best friend in my class, Evie. Usually, we hang out in the school cafeteria. Evie tells me the latest gossip, and I look for new ideas for my content. Now Evie was talking about her wild weekend, not shutting up for a second. Suddenly, her friend sighed noisily. Oh, no way! He's back? Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a tall guy who walked into the school cafeteria. He nodded and smiled at a lot of people. Do you know him? Evie was clearly surprised. It's Kurt Donovan. We were in high school until he was spotted in the park by a representative of a famous modeling agency. And then it happened. A contract was signed and Kurt became a model. High school was forgotten, but he became a welcome guest at every party. How do you know so much about him? I couldn't take it anymore. Evie blushed and admitted that she was dating Kurt. But his career was more important to him. I saw the way Evie looked at that guy. It was obvious she had a crush on him. Kurt came to our table and Evie jumped up and threw herself at him. He pulled away from her and winked at me.
Hi, I'm Kurt. You're Maeve Rose, right?
I nodded. And Kurt immediately sat down next to me. He talked a lot about what a star he was and how everyone wanted to work with him.
Maeve Rose, I know you have 1 million subscribers on TikTok. And I just started my channel. Let's do a stream together. You'll get a buzz and I'll get new subscribers.
Kurt's offer was tempting. I immediately had some interesting solutions in my head how to make it go viral on TikTok. I nodded.
Great! Then I look forward to seeing you tonight. We'll figure out how to make it work, okay?
Kurt smiled and then quickly got up and walked away. I looked at Evie. She'd been sitting there quietly the whole time. He hadn't even spoken to me. Tears welled up in Evie's eyes. I felt a little sorry for her. Kurt lived in a luxurious mansion, which I knocked on the door in the evening. He showed me a room set up as a photo studio. We agreed to take some test photos for the posts. The lights were set up, Kurt set up his iPhone on a tripod, and started posing.
Come here, Maeve. We need some pictures together.
I stood beside Kurt, but he suddenly pulled me close to him. And a minute later, he kissed me. The shooting on my iPhone was on auto mode, so I got some hot shots. I pushed Kurt away. He grabbed his phone and jumped to the far corner. What the hell are you up to, huh? I wanted to throw myself at him, punch him in the face, and smash his pretty face good.
Get ready, Maeve. I posted a picture of the kiss. So I advise you to go along with our love story. It will benefit both you and me.
I was so offended. I turned around and was running home a minute later. At home, I huddled under the covers and turned off my phone. I was afraid to look at the feed. I could barely make myself go to school in the morning. Of course, everyone was whispering behind my back. The photo with Kurt got hundreds of likes overnight. With my head down, I hurried to class, but I was blocked by Evie. How could you do this to me? Her scream attracted a crowd of onlookers, and we began to be surrounded by a tight ring. I don't even want this popularity anymore for such a bitter price, I thought. Evie, let's discuss this in private, please. You're not my friend anymore. In fact, stop acting like you're the golden girl. You're a poor girl, Maeve. You don't belong in the school. I felt like I'd been punched. Turns out Evie knew my secret, but she didn't tell me. And then she decided to tell me in spite of me, clenched my teeth and turned and ran down the hall. Because of that stupid Kurt, I'd lost a friend and ruined my reputation because of that stupid Kurt. Maeve Rose had lied to everyone about her life. How am I supposed to get out of this story now? I had to get back at Kurt somehow. But how? Do you have any ideas? I'd listen to the craziest one. I am Lucretia, and I beg you to listen to my story. I am in danger, and I don't know what to do. I am the only daughter in the family, and a very rich heiress. It all started with a humble candy store, which my father inherited from his father. Dad and Mom were able to develop the family business, so that now our company is one of the leading candy companies in the country. Ever since I was a little girl, I would often visit our main candy factory and watch the people working. My dad patiently explained to me the whole process of making each sweet. And soon, I myself began to help. By the time I was 16, I know very well that I would continue my parents' business. I am always busy, either with my studies or I am at the factory, so I do not have time to hang out with my friends from school. But one day, an incident happened that turned my whole life upside down. Kids from my school were from rich and influential families. When Fernando came to our class, there were a lot of rumors about him. Nobody knew who he was, who his family was. From the very first class, it was clear that Fernando was very smart. Not to mention that his tall stature and beautifully built body immediately attracted attention. But he was very secretive. I didn't even look in his direction until one day, an incident happened that turned everything upside down. I was at the factory, helping my mother with accounting. Suddenly, my father called me down the hall. Meet Lucrecia. This is Diego Cruz, our future partner from Mexico. And this is his son. Fernando, I interrupted my father. We know each other. Yes, we go to the same school. Great, so you have a lot to talk about. My father and Fernando's dad went to the office, and Fernando and I were left alone. Suddenly, he suggested, "Let's take a walk." I nodded faintly, and we left the factory and walked down the street. It turned out that the way Fernando was behaving at school was just Fernando's way of defense. He turned out to be a very cheerful and nice guy. We spent a few hours together walking around town that day, and I felt very comfortable with him. He explained that he always acts like that at school because he often moves from place to place, so he doesn't get attached to people. The next day at school, he gave me just a little nod before the first lesson. Nothing more. It was like we didn't even know each other. But after school, we went to the factory together. I showed him everything, took him around the different workshops, told him about the nuances of production. You know so much about sweets. I will continue this business. I'm the only heiress, Fernando, I said proudly. Maybe you've read about it. They call me the Chocolate Princess. You will be great at it, Lucretia. Fernando suddenly took my hand. I looked at him questioningly, but he didn't say a word. We sat there holding hands and talked for an entire evening. A week went by, and then another one. Fernando and I spent a lot of time together. My mother met him, and of course, she liked him immediately. Every time I went to the factory, Fernando was with me. He listened to me attentively, and that was very flattering. One day, while walking me home, Fernando hugged me tightly on my doorstep and kissed me. Oh, how I waited for that moment. Lucretia, I'm in love with you. I'm crazy about you. Me too, Fernando. That's how we began to date each other. No one at school knew about our relationship, but our parents were aware about it, and sometimes joked that maybe they would become not only business partners, but also a big family. One day, Fernanda didn't come to school. I got worried and wrote to him. Before I continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And make sure you click on the bell so you know when there's a new video on the channel. I'll wait for you at the factory. I'm fine, he answered me, barely waiting for school to end. I rushed to the factory. Usually, we started our rounds in the hall, but Fernando was nowhere to be found. I decided to text him, but my phone was completely dead. I went up to the second floor, where my father's office was. He was away on business, but strangely enough, the door to his office was opened. I immediately sensed something wrong. So quickly, on my toes, I walked up to the office. I don't have any more time, Fernando. I heard a sinister whisper from Fernando's father. You have to deal with her now! Dad, I'm in love with her! Please, I don't want to hurt her! Stop it! You promised me! The kidnapping has been planned down to the last detail. Lucretia must disappear. Her parents would give anything to get their only daughter back. And we will take over their business. Ha ha ha! Hearing this, I began to tremble with horror. So, they set the whole thing up. They planned the whole thing. And Fernando is not honest with me. They're crooks. I quickly ran down the stairs and rushed home. Now I'm locked in my room. And I don't know what to do. They want our business, and they'll do anything for it. If I go to the police, not only will I be in danger, but my parents as well. Maybe I should warn my parents. Maybe they can tell me what to do. What would you do in my place? Please write. I'm very scared.